Tonight, impeached again. The House impeaches President Trump a second time. A look at what comes next. And not enough room. That's what crews are saying about Cloquet's fire hall. The effort underway to get a new one. Plus, not safe yet. That's what Michigan's governor is saying about bars and restaurants when they could be open again.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. A number of Republicans joined Democrats Wednesday to impeach President Trump for a historic second time. This time for inciting the violent storming of the U.S. Capitol that stunned the nation and the world. The impeachment seeks President Trump's immediate removal from office and to disqualify him from ever holding office again. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry is at Capitol Hill with the latest.
The ayes are 232. The nays are 197.
The House voted to impeach President Trump on a single charge of incitement of insurrection for last week's deadly rampage at the Capitol. The historic vote marks the first time in U.S. history a president has been impeached twice.
The danger is too great. We must impeach.
Defend this Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, including Donald J. Trump.
While 10 Republicans broke with President Trump voting to impeach, most stood by him.
He specifically told the crowd to protest peacefully and patriotically, and the vast majority of them did.
Instead of stopping the Trump train, his movement will grow stronger, for you will have made him a martyr.
Amid threats in the days ahead of next Wednesday's inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden, the National Guard is mobilizing up to 20,000 troops around Washington, D.C.
No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence.
Without mentioning the impeachment, President Trump condemned the Capitol riot in a new White House video, but did not take responsibility for it.
Exactly when the president's Senate trial will begin remains unclear.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he will not use emergency powers to bring the Senate back from recess before next Tuesday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has already named 9 impeachment managers who will serve as prosecutors in the trial.
Today, in a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
To convict, 17 Senate Republicans would need to vote against President Trump.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin National Guard members are preparing to deploy to D.C. for security during the inauguration. Governor Tony Evers made that announcement today. Other Wisconsin Guardsmen are also deploying to Madison to address threats against the state capitol. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz also activated members of the Minnesota National Guard to help at home and in Washington, D.C. All right, let's head on over to the weather real quick with Dave. Dave, I keep poking my head outside to see if the snow has arrived, but not quite yet here in Duluth.
You know, I don't think it's really going to arrive in Minnesota till sometime between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning. And then for Wisconsin and UP between 3 and 5. And our low pressure system is still set up to now slide a bit to our south. So we're not going to bear the brunt of the low, but we will get something. So yeah, much of our area is still covered by a winter weather advisory, western and northwestern Minnesota till 6 o'clock tomorrow. Then the rest of the area here, we're on pins and needles because we face a winter storm watch that could last into portions of Saturday. So to the Doppler we go, and rain initially with a warm front is starting to cross the border from the Dakotas into Minnesota. As it cools, as it travels, it'll shift over to snow. And our short-term forecast then says by 3 o'clock in the morning, it should be a 40% chance for snow, 50-50 chance when you're getting out for the morning commute Thursday. And Thursday afternoon, heading home, 70% chance, about 2 to 4 inches will fall. Another 1 to 3 is possible on Friday. We'll talk about the snow totals in more depth. I get it, Tony. Coming up in just a couple more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Nationwide, a handful of major companies and business interests that spend heavily in politics are backing away from members of Congress who voted to overturn election results last week. Naomi Coles looked at the major Wisconsin-based companies whose owners or PACs donated to the state's 2 congressmen who voted that way.
We're at the beginning stages of a reckoning.
A trend that's grown out of January 6th, the day of riot and insurrection on Capitol Hill.
Declaration that they're explicitly not going to give you money because of this what you did on January 6th. That's a signal.
Political spending groups affiliated with major companies and business interests like AT&T, Marriott, Blue Cross Blue Shield, American Express, Hallmark. They're pulling funding from members of Congress who voted to overturn election results last Wednesday.
I object.
Wisconsin's two freshman congressmen, Republicans Tom Tiffany and Scott Fitzgerald, voted to block certification. We reviewed filings from the FEC and the Center for Responsive Politics and reached out to the owners or political spending groups of 5 major Wisconsin headquartered companies who have national presences or spending interests. The founders or political spending arms of Uline, ABC Supply, Quick Trip, Ashley Furniture, and Northwestern Mutual all were top donors to one or both of these representatives. None responded to our questions of whether they planned to pull funding from these candidates in the future. As campaign finance expert Professor Ken Mayer explains, it's not so much a certain dollar amount that affects a politician when it's withdrawn.
That $5,000 by itself is not going to make or break a candidate.
It's the act itself.
Large business interests publicly pulling back, that becomes more significant as a sign that a key constituency or group of constituencies are sort of backing away from you.
Nationwide, the trend among corporations is growing, but it remains to be seen if the large private companies or the wealthy individuals behind them will follow suit.
And that's a signal that other donors and supporters are likely to take into account.
Richard and Elizabeth Olhein and Diane Hendricks behind ABC Supply are not just big Wisconsin spenders, but top political spenders in the entire country. Not enough room to operate. That's a frustration being felt more and more by firefighters in Cloquet who say they desperately need a new fire hall. It's a concern that's getting attention from some lawmakers in St. Paul. CBS 3's John Cardinelli got a first-hand look today at the current space and learned more about what it will take to build a new one.
The fire hall in Cloquet has been around since the 60s, and since then, the department has grown much larger.
Our staff has more than doubled. Our call volume has increased by at least 100%.
That's Battalion Chief Jesse Buse. He says since the department has grown over the years, space has become a major issue.
We've packed every space that we have available for storage. We've taken over office spaces to make living quarters for the firefighters.
But a new bill being put on the table in St. Paul aims to change that.
The ask is for $6.85 million to enhance the funds for the department there.
The money would be used to combine Station 1 with Station 3, which is in Scanlon. The move is something that Cloquet Fire Chief Matt Ashmore says will help with response times given the proposed location of the new station.
The new station is right in between the two, and so it would provide us with that extra staff that would be working out of that station, so that means that we could have a better response.
The bill has been just introduced, and according to those involved, it is only a matter of time until the Cloquet Fire Department gets a facelift.
We're going to push it and see if we can get it across this year. If not, there's always next year, and we'll be pushing even harder.
The new station is expected to be located across from Sappi on 22nd Street. Minnesota's analysts are keeping a close eye on what December's unemployment data will look like, especially after COVID-19 restrictions tightened in mid-November. Data analysts say the leisure and hospitality industry has been hit the hardest during the pandemic. Carson Gorecki from Deed says Duluth and surrounding towns lost more than 7,000 jobs at the start of the pandemic. He says at this point, only a third of those jobs have returned. Analysts hope with the loosened restrictions and vaccine distribution, the 2021 unemployment rate will be a beacon of hope.
I would hope that, as the vaccines continue to roll out and more confidence is kind of infused in the economy, that with that confidence, more things would start to open up. But it all kind of depends on getting the pandemic under control.
Analysts say one trend they're noticing in the Duluth area is people leaving the labor force altogether, meaning more people aren't looking for jobs since the pandemic started. In Michigan, it will be February before people can sit down inside a bar or restaurant. The statewide ban on indoor dining was set to expire Friday night. However, state health leaders say they are still working out the details about a curfew time, capacity limits, and increased ventilation inside before allowing indoor dining. Michigan is one of 3 states in the country with a statewide indoor dining ban.
Planned everything, like our schedules are written, everything's ready to go for Saturday morning to open up. We've got more food coming in, we've got all that stuff, and so it's definitely a bummer when you find out last minute.
Right now, the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association says there are more than 100,000 unemployed hospitality workers in the state, and thousands of small businesses are on the edge of bankruptcy. A familiar face in the area is retiring later this year. David Ross, the president of the Duluth Chamber of Commerce, will retire this summer. He's served in that position for the last 24 years. His official retirement date is set for August 4th. He says he's thoroughly enjoyed his time in the role and advocating for the business community. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, during the past 2 weeks, political division has turned violent, especially in the Capitol. Coming up are some tips on how to talk to your kids about these times.
Record low temp for this date is 34 below from 1929. Come this weekend, we will cool down from these warmer than normal conditions, just not that cold. And of course, in between, we're still dealing with a few inches of snow. Tomorrow and Friday, we'll talk about the latest estimates coming up after our break.
Join us weeknights. We're live at 5 as we go around the Northland, city by city.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northland still to this day. From environmental issues to economics and so much more. Join me, Kristen Bakke, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining. A fair and unbiased report that answers the tough questions surrounding the world of mining.
Eye on Mining with Kristen Bakke. Tuesdays at 10 only on Live Local CBS 3. Brought to you by Iron Mining Association.
This year's been just a huge year. We've had everything going on with the pandemic. It's hard to not have your heart go out to those people, the millions that have been impacted by that. That's why we do what we do, to try and keep people in the know. What's going on with this? When is it going to end? When's the vaccine going to be here? How is this impacting you? Where are resources to help you get through the pandemic and keep you and your family safe through all of this?
For coverage that matters most to you, tune to Live Local CBS 3.
Epilepsy can affect anyone with a brain.
It does not discriminate.
If you have a brain,
you can get epilepsy.
But here's something that's just as important to know.
Anyone with a brain can affect epilepsy.
So let's use our brains to do just that.
Let's change the way people think about epilepsy.
To find cures.
Because if all of us can get epilepsy,
all of us can end epilepsy.
We just need to use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains to end epilepsy.
Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS 3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Low pressure system is getting closer to our region, so we're still looking at some advisories and some watches for our area as Thursday and Friday come across. For western Minnesota, northwestern Minnesota, and in our part of the world, Koochiching County, Itasca County, and Aiken County, winter weather advisory could last until tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. The rest of the region farther to the east, most of us face a winter storm watch, though it still looks like northern St. Louis County, much of Lake County, and all of Cook County, plus Gogebic County off the hook. Still going to get some snow there, but not as much as the rest of us. And as far as that snow goes, we'll show you the latest chart here in just a little bit. But here's a live look at downtown Ely, where, of course, folks there are prepping for some snow as well. Earlier tonight, I heard that snowmobilers in that neck of the woods are hoping to get a lot of snow. But frankly, I think Ely's in the zone that isn't going to get much, maybe 1 to 3 inches. Now, here's what's coming around at the airport. At this moment, 27 degrees for the temperature, east-southeast wind 9 miles per hour, and air pressure Lower side, 1,002 millibars, 29.59 inches of mercury. This, of course, going down temperature-wise and barometer reading-wise because of a low-pressure system coming our way. So speaking of temperatures going down in Ely, it's down to 10 there, 14 in Silver Bay, and 14 in Watersmead as well. A little bit warmer in Ironwood, 16 towards LaPointe, but still 23 in Superior, 28 for Moose Lake and Cloquet. Upper teens from Eveleth in through the Hibbing region, and 31 still in Grand Rapids. So the warm front that sent us up towards 40 today is already starting to lose its grip a little bit, and temperatures are tumbling as snow and precip threatens to tumble out of the clouds as well. Right now, over towards the Dakotas, it's getting there. It's in the form of rain right now, but once we get into the overnight hours here, the clouds will be filling in, and out of those clouds, good 60 to 70% chance for snow. Though again, the main path of this low likely will go down to the south of our area, so we won't get hit as directly as we could have, which means snow totals aren't as big as they could be, but we are still getting something, yes. Most of us are looking at about 3 to 6 inches then for Thursday into Friday evening, and the areas in white, which include Ely and the Upper Peninsula, more towards 1 to 3. After that, there is one more snow chance coming our way for the week ahead. We'll show it to you with the 7-day. Here tonight in Minnesota, look for low temps in the upper teens for some places to about 25 degrees closer to the lake. Those places already in the teens, you may warm up a bit as the clouds go up, so it's a brief cool down. Snow possible after about 3, 4 in the morning for Wisconsin and the UP with low temps there, 20 to 24. Tomorrow's high temps in Wisconsin, Michigan, 30 to 34, 80% chance for perhaps 2 to 4 inches of snow for folks there. 70% chance for perhaps 2 to 4 in Minnesota as well. Highs 20s inland, 30s by the lake. And if we get 2 to 4 on Thursday, another 1 to 3 is possible on Friday. That's why I think most of us will end up between 3 to 6, maybe some a little more, others a little less. Then Saturday, Tony, Saturday, folks on the South Shore might continue to get a little more snow thanks to lake effect as that low pulls away. But higher pressure cools us down and clears us up at least a little bit by Sunday. And then for Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, 8 above for the start, 19 for the finish. Pretty close to normal after this warm spell.
Okay, you know, you've been talking about this potential snow all week. What did I do? Well, I went out and got a car wash today. Whoopsie.
So that's the reason the chance is 70%.
There you go. That's Murphy's Law. Thanks, Dave. The last few weeks in our country have been chaotic, and some parents may be looking for the best way to talk to their children about these challenging moments in history. CBS3's Natalie Grant has expert advice on the best way to start that conversation.
Talking to kids about complex and sometimes scary situations can be hard.
Sometimes it's easy to talk about, and other times it's just downright frightful as a dad.
For Joel Heller, Wednesday's Capitol attack made him think of his 14-year-old son and how to offer him reassurance in a scary time.
That's all I could think of is how do I explain to Noah what is happening?
Former teacher and political expert Sharon McMahon says that being open and honest with your kids is a great place to start.
Kids are more resilient than we think. They can handle the truth.
More resilient and able to understand complex situations.
As soon as you start saying, like, I don't want to talk about it, now children are going to have to go elsewhere for information. And you don't necessarily know where they're going to go for information. You don't necessarily know that that place is going to be reliable, that it's going to be respectful of your family's viewpoints.
For Heller, he believes that honesty and reassurance are most important when talking to his son, while also teaching him how to learn from the situation.
But if we can show a little bit more love in this world, I think as a dad, that is what I'm trying to do.
Starting the conversation now in hopes of setting a positive foundation for the future.
McMahon also says don't be afraid to have more in-depth conversations with your kids about current events as long as the conversations are age appropriate. Well, despite Applefest, one of Bayfield County's largest events being canceled due to the pandemic, 2020's tourism numbers show it was still one for the record books. Mary Motif works with the Bayfield County Tourism Office. She credits the county's size and large amount of publicly owned land for making it easy for visitors to explore while staying socially distanced. She says the county's camping industry saw an especially big boom. Motif says about 30% of the area's tourists were first-time visitors. She says that's a good sign for years to come. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, during the pandemic, many live music events were canceled all across the Northland. Find out which local group is getting back together after the break.
CBS 3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
The Cetus Fogger disinfectant machine sanitizes and restricts the growth of bacteria and viruses. Our disinfectant machines are needed wherever infection can be spread, such as hospitals, public spaces, schools, and nursing homes. The R model is stationary, ideal for the home, office, and classroom, while the C model is movable and ideal for commercial and industrial settings. Our disinfectant machine also controls mold, pests, and odors, ideal for the food and agriculture industries. Visit www.cetusonline.com. That is CETUSonline.com.
New Duluth Auto is the Duluth used car dealer. We have plenty of makes and models to choose from. Nissan, Honda, Toyota, and we even carry multiple options for our most popular vehicle, the Subaru Forester. Large cargo space, all-wheel drive, what's not to love? All of our vehicles are priced under $20,000. To make these deals even sweeter, there is a 1 to 5 year warranty included on all vehicles. Give us a call, stop by, or view our inventory online at newduluthauto.net. Because here at New Duluth Auto, we are your Duluth used car dealer.
Hi, John with Prime Appliance, and this is one of the best times of the year to buy appliances because manufacturers are sending us their new models weekly, and we need the room, so we're closing out last year's models at rock-bottom prices. Save over $400 on this 30-inch wide, 20-cubic-foot Whirlpool French door refrigerator in smudge-free stainless with ice and water, now just $17.29. Financing always available. Have our pros deliver and install or take it home today. Prime Appliance is the best place to buy your appliances.
For coverage that matters most to you, tune to CBS 3.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers get paid training to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. Army National Guard soldiers are learning skills that can set them up for success with companies looking to hire the best.
The Army National Guard basically built my resume for me.
Find out how you can learn a trade and serve part-time for your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Northwest Outlet is your ARE truck topper headquarters.
Some things are just too important to leave out of your morning routine. Make sure we aren't one of them. Live, local, CBS 3. A great way to start your day.
Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland city by city.
After having to pack up their instruments during Minnesota's COVID restrictions, the Duluth Superior Symphony Orchestra will be back on stage soon. The musicians will play 5 different concerts between early February and May. The orchestra's executive director, Brandon Van Weyenberg, says they're extremely motivated to get back on stage for the first time since November.
Social distancing on the stage to be able to bring back. It won't be the full symphony. You will not see 70 musicians on stage. You'll see right around 35 musicians, but they are excited and ready to come make music for the Northland.
Van Weyenberg says they are allowing 150 people in the audience, but they still plan to live stream the concerts for people who want to watch at home. You can find out how to get tickets on our website. Still ahead in sports, UMD women's hockey finally back to games in almost a month. Kelly's in with the preview coming up next.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS 3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night.
Still hard to find a spot, just easier to park. Still the big move, just more moving. Still singing, just more in tune. Still the gang's all here, just less are we there yet. The Chevy family of SUVs, making life's journey just better.
Get a $5,500 cash allowance on most 2020 Equinox models. Plus, current Chevy owners with an eligible GM credit card get an additional $1,750 total allowance. Visit TrueNorthChevyDealers.com.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3.
okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I don't think any other year is ever going to be like 2020. I never thought that I would go through something like this ever in my life. This pandemic's not a isolated thing to our country or to our state or to our city. This is something that's affecting the world, and that just shows really how interconnected we all are. And I think that's why news is so important, because news is kind of like that lifeline to kind of bring that information out and bring us all together.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Epilepsy can affect anyone with a brain.
It does not discriminate.
If you have a brain,
You can get epilepsy. But here's something that's just as important to know.
anyone with a brain can affect epilepsy.
So let's use our brains to do just that.
Let's change the way people think about epilepsy.
To find cures.
Because if all of us can get epilepsy,
All of us can end epilepsy.
We just need to use our brains.
Let's use our brains. Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains to end epilepsy.
Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
After they had their last two series postponed, the UMD women's hockey team will get back on track with their schedule this upcoming weekend. They welcome in the Ohio State Buckeyes into Amsoil Arena. It will be the only time this season that the two teams meet up. And coming into Friday's matchup, the Bulldogs are riding a 9-game winning streak at home against Ohio State.
They've always been a really good team, and it's always a really good battle. We know that they're physical and they're going to be fast just like us. They kind of play similarly, but I think as a team we've been working a lot on how to beat their defense and using our speed. So just kind of sticking to our game plan, I think we'll be good to go.
And the Bulldogs will take on Ohio State at 6 p.m. on Friday. Meanwhile, the UMD men's game against Miami this weekend is postponed to the end of January. According to UMD, this is due to a combination of positive COVID-19 tests, contact tracing, and subsequent quarantining of individuals within the program. Currently, all players are in quarantine and doing off-ice Zoom workouts, and that is it. This is the first series this year that the men's hockey team has had altered. A few NCHC teams already had their series postponed post-pod, and the UMD women's team has seen a total of 2 of their series fall victim to COVID-19. So this is uncharted territory.
We're just kind of in the wait and see, right? You know, we haven't gone through this yet. You know, a lot of teams have, and unfortunately, we're going through it now.
And the series has been postponed to the last week in January. After almost a 2-week hiatus, the UMD men's basketball team will return to the court this Friday when they host UMary. It's been an interesting week so far for the team. They held their first practice yesterday since the team was shut down, and they will only have 2 full practices before Friday's game. Just 1 day ahead of testing remains. Head coach Justin Wick says they have to get over that hurdle. After that, he says the team's mentality remains the same.
The expectations in this program, these guys know what the expectations are to win. Mary or anybody else we play is not going to feel sorry for us, so we've got to be ready to roll. The expectation of these guys is to win both these games this weekend.
And Friday's game is scheduled for 6 o'clock p.m. As for the women's squad, they are once again facing game cancellations due to exposures and testing protocols within the program. The weekend's contest against UMary is off, which makes the third time this season that the team has had to cancel their games. The team admits it's been a hard situation, but they're trying to look at the positives of what they've been able to do so far.
When we're on this roller coaster ride this year, just make the best of it and be there for each other. And we have one choice, or we have, basically two choices. You can have a terrible attitude and feel sorry for yourself, or just keep pushing forward, trying to make yourself better in any way that you possibly can while we go through moments like this.
Bulldogs will return to action on January 22nd at MSU Moorhead. To the pros, the Detroit Pistons and Milwaukee Bucks met for the third time in 10 days. Picking up in the second quarter, Giannis Antetokounmpo continues to extend his shooting range. The Greek Freak puts down the three. Bucks had 11 threes in the first half alone to extend their already massive lead. Giannis led the way tonight with 22 en route to a 9-point victory. And Tyus Jones and the Memphis Grizzlies coming into Target Center tonight to face the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns finally back in the lineup after returning from that wrist injury. Drills the three, welcome back with 25 points. But that 25 from D'Angelo Russell and 28 from Malik Beasley was not enough as the T-Wolves fall to 3-8 on the season. That is going to do it for sports tonight. We'll be right back after the break.
Change the future of medicine from the convenience of home. Join the All of Us research program to help improve health research and speed up medical breakthroughs. Visit essentialhealth.org/allofus to learn more.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Across the country, the world changed in an instant, but at MediaCom, we were ready. And as internet traffic increased, we never slowed down. Schools and businesses went virtual, and we powered a new reality. For more than 20 years, we've been building a future-ready network to keep you ahead of it all. And now, MediaCom will be among the first to take you to 10G. We're making the next giant leap forward in internet technology and taking you further than you can imagine.
When facing a major healthcare decision, it's wise to seek a second opinion from a team of established experts. Financial decisions deserve the same level of care and expertise. At MPPL Financial, we develop your plan by assembling a personalized team that includes experts in multiple disciplines. So the result is a coordinated care plan that covers all areas of your financial life. Your outcome depends on the quality of care you receive. Call today to set up your free second opinion consultation or visit MPPLfinancial.com.
Everything that happens on a day-to-day basis in terms of news, no matter what happens in news, weather is always constant, weather is always changing as well. So it's still an important role as the meteorologist to kind of still stay grounded and to kind of just know that role and what to take and kind of just make sure you're delivering what's the most important for your viewers. But then also I like to touch base on the national things. All of those news stories also tie in with weather stories because they do go kind of hand in hand.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men, celebrating 30 years in business in 2021 with 30% off store-wide. Downtown Duluth.
The Mega Millions lottery jackpot has climbed to a whopping $750 million. It's the second largest jackpot in Mega Millions history. The lump sum cash payout is estimated at $550 million. The next drawing will be held on Friday. The largest Mega Millions jackpot on record was more than $1.5 billion, won in 2018. Dave, I think I could easily take the cash out option on that, and I would buy a snowmobile to take advantage of tomorrow's snow.
All right, even though you have a snowball's chance of winning.
Yeah.
Just like me, Tony. But we can always dream. And snow fans up towards the Arrowhead may have to dream bigger, because I don't think folks there are going to get that much snow. But the rest of us could get 2 to 4 on Thursday and another 1 to 3 on Friday before it dries up on Saturday.
Thanks for joining us.